What's up, everybody? It's your boy Ryan. Thanks so much for being with me. We're going to talk about determining whether or not you're choline-centric and dopamine-centric. There are very, very easy ways to determine that, and that helps you to figure out sort of which nootropics you should be taking. So we're going to get into that. All this content is brought to you by a couple products. Right now, here are the specials at livecortex.com on product. Number one, the Cortex stack should be in either late this week or early next week. For those of you folks that are been waiting for Cortex, been out of stock for about a week or so. Coming in uber soon, and I'll make an announcement when it comes in. We'll run some specials when it gets here. Number two, the coupon code 20, just 20, takes 20% off of everything on the website. And probably the smartest thing that folks can do is you want to up your nootropics game at this time so that you can focus better and get the things you need to get done, especially business people, okay? So that applies to the 40-minute nootropics consult with me. So go get that at livecortex.com. That applies to the Viking Testosterone protocol. Takes it down substantially, 20%. For those of you men need to raise tests, go do it. No better time than now to get on that protocol. That applies to the Nootropics Masterclass. Nootropics Masterclass is a video course intended to take you from where you are with nootropics to the Masterclass. That is the 6-year level. It also applies to our newest product, which is the Nootropics Starter Pack Elite. If a lot of this is over your head and you're brand new to nootropics and you need basically a package, an information product package to take you to the 3 or 4 year mark, the elite level on using nootropics, get the Nootropics Starter Pack Elite. It comes with Nootropics Ground Zero, video course intended to take you from brand new to 3 years. It comes with Smarter, Better, Faster, the video interactive page turning version of the book, which introduces a lot more complex concepts and stacks and cycling. And then it also comes with How to Perfect Your Nootropic Stacks Fast, which is a digital PDF that shows you my strategy for formulating stacks and then perfecting them. That is a Nootropic Starter Pack Elite, and that is also 20% off using the coupon code 20 at livecortex.com. Last thing, for those of you that are business people and serious about getting good brain function during this time, we just launched a 1-month intensive nootropics consult with me. It is 1 month, a strategy document, 10 plus formulations that we ship to you and perfect over the course of that time. It's very, very immersion based. So we'll save you a lot of time and a lot of money. Get that at livecortex.com. All right. So determining whether or not you're dopamine-centric or cholinergic-centric is really pretty easy. I would first say this. Listen, if you can tolerate upwards of 175 milligrams of either CDP choline or alpha GPC with a modestly dosed racetam, then it's more than likely that you're choline-centric. Meaning, if it does not give you side effects to take those doses upward of 175 milligrams of any of the choline sources with a racetam, then the best bet is you probably need to go a little higher, and you'd be best stacking a couple racetams in medium doses and then sort of higher dosing your choline sources. That tells us you're choline centric, right? The number one thing that tells a person that they are essentially not choline centric, which means they do not need work on optimizing any acetylcholine pathways in the brain, is side effects, right? So if you take a cholinergic compound and you get some degree of side effects, your brain is not in need of those compounds, okay? But if you can tolerate pretty high doses of the stuff, then your brain is in need of those compounds. And what will happen over the course of 6 months to a year or a year and a half, let's just set it on that time frame, of you experimenting with higher doses of CDP choline or GPC, stacking medium even to high doses of racetams together, and then bringing your GPC or your CDP choline in there at medium to high doses, is you'll start to get results from it. You'll start to get focus and memory and even verbal fluency and general energy results from choline-centric compounds. And then over time, your cholinergic receptors, in response to constantly working on them, will begin to, first of all, they'll regulate and normalize, so that you can actually get a consistent response from cholinergic nootropic compounds. But when that happens, when you actually start to get pretty consistent results, and there might be a build-up period for some people in this particular situation, you'll have a period of consistent results, and that's the time where you really have to then start to implement some sort of cycle strategy, because you don't want to hit that system too consistently, because then you will do the reverse. You'll gain good function of cholinergic receptors and acetylcholine signaling, and you'll have all the positive benefits, and you'll say, this is amazing. And then if you continue down that path, you'll eventually start to run into downregulation of those receptors, which could eventually bring in side effects, which would make you at that point essentially not choline-centric and having to shift to a different system. So the moment that everything starts to function really well for a week or two, taking choline-centric compounds as you build up, that's the point at which you want to cycle off of them. So, cycle between cholinergic stacks, take a couple days out of the week to not work on the cholinergic system, to instead switch to dopamine or non-neurotransmitter modifying nootropic compounds. So that's choline. How you can tell if you're dopamine centric, it's essentially the same thing, but you have to look at prior to experimenting with dopaminergic compounds, what your baseline is like. Okay, so if your baseline is low energy, low motivation, low stimulation to get work done, like if you just don't feel motivated to sit down and do work, then that is a primary key that there's some sort of dopamine signaling issue and that you would need to work on that. First of all, modafinil and its analogs should work substantially well for people in that position. But and so that's what I would start with. I'd be starting with modafinil. I'd be taking L-tyrosine. I'd be taking phenylalanine. I'd maybe even bring in some L-dopa, experiment with doses that work for you and see what you get. You should get some pretty good results. In the event that you're in need of dopamine modifying compounds and you start taking them and they do not give you the results that you like, this is more than likely a case of downregulation or derangement of dopamine signaling, in which case you have to shift from dopamine affecting compounds to dopamine restoration compounds, which would be compounds like uridine monophosphate, CDB-choline, and then more intensively 9-MeBC. And then throughout that period, take a 2 to 3 week period and experiment with those compounds to try to restore dopamine sensitivity, really kind of, tolerance, to dopaminergic nootropic compounds and excessive dopamine. I mean, usually people in this situation have been taking stimulants for a long time and they've kind of burnt out dopamine receptors or downregulated them. So if you want to be shooting for uridine, CDP, and 9-MeBC in that case to restore the response that you get from those compounds. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Back to the cholinergic situation. For those of you that need to restore cholinergic sensitivity, that is something that I am working on and testing on a bunch of people, and I'll have some more data on that coming out probably in the next month or two so that we can give folks an option there. But that's primarily how you determine whether or not you're choline-centric or dopamine-centric, and that's kind of the path of action to take once you've made one determination or the other, okay? So I hope that makes sense. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. Remember, go get some product at livecortex.com. Everything is 20% off. Best things to do right now are information products. The Nootropics Masterclass, okay? That will make you a masterclass user of nootropics in one video course. The thing is sick. 20% off using the coupon code 20. Do that at livecortex.com. For those of you business people that need brain functioning because you're trying to resuscitate your business or reach new markets during the COVID-19 shutdowns, you need to be functioning awesomely. And the two major things you should do are, number one, either book a consult with me, 40-minute call with me. Number two, if you need much more intensive work, which I suggest, I'm working with a lot of business people on this. We just launched a 1-month intensive nootropics consult where we have a strategy document where we try to achieve 10 plus formulations that work extremely well for you that we ship to you and work with you on. It's a very hyper acute sort of immersion nootropics consultation. That's 1 month straight. You can get that at livecortex.com. Coupon code 20 applies to that as well. And then lastly, if you're a business person, you need to get your hands on the Nootropic Stack for the Business Professional Special Report. It's a digital guide that has stacks broken down specifically for business folks. and the kind of brain you need. Do all that at livecortex.com. For everybody else, everything else is on sale, 20% off using the coupon code 220 at livecortex.com. Go get some guides. Go get the Nootropic Starter Pack Elite if you're new, Nootropic Ground Zero if you're new, and snag some digital books or some consults, and let's get it all done. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. Talk to you soon.